welcome to the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Kaela Hansen. Kaela is currently a professional soccer player playing in Finland for KuPS, and my sister and I also known her for quite a while just from playing with her in the youth Canadian national team program like years ago. So we're just excited to have her on here today.
Yeah, Kaela, thank you so much for just taking the time to speak with us today. Just to share your journey.
For having me.
So just tell us how you're doing and how you're feeling today.
First off, sorry you're still talking, but thank you for having me. I'm doing really good. Like I said, it's beginning to get a lot nicer outside and stuff like that. So I feel like that definitely plays a big part in your mood and being a lot happier and stuff like that. I mean, I love the sun. But yeah, I'm doing really good. I'm enjoying it a lot. Our season finally started as well too, because our season setup is different. Ours starts a little later. So we're, finally playing, the games that mean something. So it's really exciting right now. I'm in a very good mood lately.
That's nice. You got nice weather. And
yeah.
Finally starting. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just start by just telling us what age you started to play soccer and why soccer even came into your life?
Yeah. So I think I started playing soccer when I was 5 or 6 years old, and during that time, I feel like a lot of parents do this. They kind of just throw your kid in a lot of different sports to kind of see what they like. But for some reason, I just always stuck it out with soccer. I think the more I got older and the more I played it, I feel like the more I realized that's the path I wanted to go down. And especially too, when you create a community with other players who also play soccer, I feel like that also helps shape your view on wanting to also, become a soccer player too. A lot of my close friends, you guys and other people also went down that route of soccer. So I feel like it helps shape you as well to want to go down that route as well. And in high school, it got to a point where I had to choose between lacrosse, soccer, and basketball. And soccer just always stuck with me. And really thinking about it, I felt like I could go the furthest in soccer. So I, stuck out that journey and it got me to this point. And I'm happy I chose this path.
What position did you play in basketball?
Point guard.
Oh, point guard. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I was one. I was one making plays. I was one making the plays, and so I only did it in high school though. I did it in high school, and I actually really liked it. And then I was pretty serious in lacrosse for a little bit, but then obviously I feel like soccer was the no-brainer, especially when you have that much history. I've been playing it since I was 6 years old, and I didn't start basketball until high school and lacrosse until I was in elementary school. So soccer was the no-brainer.
Soccer was the no-brainer. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I feel like we kind of had the same journey, but I didn't really play any sports outside of soccer. Only in school, we just ran track, but that was just for fun. So
that's tried to get us into track.
Yeah, he tried, but
you said your dad tried to get you guys into track?
Yeah, but
track's low-key scary. I did track a little bit in elementary school and high school, and it's kind of scary because I feel because I'm not a solo sport kind of person. I mean, I know it depends on the race you do and stuff like that, but I'm not a solo. I don't like the pressure of it all being on me and having to go against other people individually. I think that's what's getting me. And also, I'm just not a fan of running at all. So,
me too.
Just not a fan of running at all. Even though soccer is all running, but don't want to do it by choice for sure.
I feel like with track, you're just running. That's all you're doing. But I feel
that's your life.
Yeah, I'm just. That's
literally your life.
Yeah.
But props to people who do it, because that's I feel like a really hard sport
Yeah, it's
to
like
have
a
to
No,
master.
seriously. You're putting your body through the
You got
I
to
don't even
build
know.
your endurance.
Yeah, like
My
killing
asthma
your
wouldn't be
body
able to
every day.
take it. My asthma would not be able to take it for sure.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
remember we used to have to do like track workouts for our club team. Like he would make us do track workouts, and they were so hard, but they did help in the end. But they were so hard. Like I don't think I ever want to go through that again in my life.
With me running on the track, I have like PTSD.
Trauma, a little bit of
Yeah,
a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah, like oh my god, never again.
but just going back to soccer, can you just tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about like your recruiting process and why you chose to commit to the University of Kansas?
Yeah, so back in high school, we were a part of this program called Whitecaps Girls Rex Elite, which I feel like you guys are aware of, and basically that league was kind of like the league that like youth girls would want to be a part of, because it was like basically in our region, it was like just like the best players in Canada, or like the best players in BC in our league, because there was also different Rex girls in different provinces. Um, and also coming to be a part of that team, you got to go to these tournaments where college coaches would come in and they would like watch you. And they were known to know that, like, you know, this team is like the team to watch if you want to recruit girls. And so we had a collegiate, if I'm pronouncing it right, I forgot what his name. His name was Ryan Clark, and he was like our collegiate like transition manager or something. He was the one that dealt with you know, the connection for college coaches to want to talk to us, because at the time we were too young, we couldn't talk to them yet and stuff like that. So we would go to these tournaments, and if a coach wanted to talk to us or wanted to be in contact with us, it would go through Ryan, and he would let us know, and we would basically, you know, decide if we wanted to have a conversation with this team or not, or kind of pursue it. And then afterwards, you kind of narrow it down and you go on unofficial visits. They're called unofficial because, I mean, I believe it's until you're in grade 11, that's when you can officially commit. But yeah, so you go on a bunch of unofficial visits. It was between Kansas and another school. And I just honestly, I really like, you know, it was really hard for me. Well, that was like one of the hardest decisions in my life, because at the time, like, you're thinking, you know, you're gonna play here hopefully for the next 4 or 5 years. Like, you want to make sure it's a good decision and it's the right fit for you. So obviously I would say that's like one of the biggest, hardest decisions. It's up there for one of the hardest decisions for soccer for me. But yeah, I think the reason why I chose Kansas was the atmosphere, the environment. I liked the way they played soccer. It's very much tiki-taka, which is what I like. I'm not a very big kick and run kind of player. And I liked the coaching staff. And obviously, you know, the offer that they were giving me was really good as well. So I think that's what made me choose to decide to go to Kansas, and I was there for all my 5 years, and we had I had a very good run. We had a few years where we did really well, but all in all, I'm really happy with my decision, and I enjoyed going there. And then it allowed me to get to the opportunities where I am now here as well.
No, that's great. Well, like, cause I understand, I know what you're saying. I could relate to that. Just like the decision, like committing to the school that you're gonna spend 4 years at. Like, I know how important that is, and it's kind of like a lot
Mhm.
of pressure. But you just kind of have to like follow like what feels right to you, and can you picture yourself here?
Mhm.
All those type of things.
Mhm.
I think
And
that.
like it's also, and I feel like too, like, and it's also okay if you get there and you're not, you know, you're not enjoying it the most, and you end up transferring. It's always good to transfer too. Like, you have all those you have 4 to 5 years to like figure out what you want to do, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the school you end up choosing. Like sometimes you can like transfer out and you end up, you know, enjoying the new school you transfer at, but everyone just goes through different paths, which is perfectly fine. I mean, you always end up where you're supposed to be at the end of the day, but everyone has different routes and like journeys on how they get there.
It's true. That is really true. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like a lot of people who like transferred out have had so much
Thanks,
like
guys.
success. No, that was a really good point. Like, I don't know. For me and my sister, we were so scared to like transfer out because we also did have a good scholarship deal. So like to transfer out, I didn't know what I was gonna get into, and even just like we really liked our social like atmosphere at Maryland. So like transferring, we were just so scared that maybe we wouldn't get that at a different school. So we kind of just stuck it out there, and honestly, we don't regret it. We made like lifelong friends. So at the end of the day, like I really. I think it was a good choice on that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what was it?
And I think like sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead. Continue.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, nothing. I was just gonna say like I feel like at the end of the day it comes down to like if you're having a good if you're there for soccer, then I feel like if that pillar is not like you're not enjoying it, I feel like that has a big part on whether you like transfer or not. Because you could have a great social life, enjoy school, like make a lot of friends, but if the soccer pillar, like the soccer part isn't the best, I feel like that's a lot of the reason why people end up transferring out too, because it's scary. And like at the end of the day, if your goal is soccer, then I mean at least from like my teammates and friends that have transferred out, like they could have a great social life and enjoy like the school part, but like if the soccer part's not there, then they just transfer out.
Yeah. I feel like transferring can also like just bring about new opportunities for you that you didn't think that like would happen. So just kind of just go with your gut. That's what I feel like you should do. Go with your gut.
Literally.
But like,
go what's right for you.
Yeah, seriously, like go what's right or what you think is right for you. But what was like one thing that kind of stuck out to you about Kansas?
Just like as a whole in general.
Like on or off the field, like the campus, outside of campus.
I would say that's a good question. Let me think on that one. Because I feel like there's like different aspects to it. Like actually I think a big thing for me were my teammates. I feel like when you go into the nice thing about going to school for a sport is that you like literally walk into like a second family. Like you're already walking into friends and like people that you're gonna be able to be friends with and hopefully friends with even after college.
Yeah.
So I think a big part that I loved the most was just like, my teammates and the people I met there. Like I love them. Like a lot of them, not getting mushy and stuff, but like a lot of them that I've met have like a big part in my life. They know who they are. But they have like a very big part in my life. And I feel like you develop a community when you're there. And also another thing is the things you learn while playing soccer that translate to life off the field. Like I feel like a lot of the things you learn, for example, like discipline, determination, accountability are important things that I feel like, just like naming some examples, are important things that you learn while playing in soccer, which are also important in real life things like that you do outside of soccer as well, that you take with yourself like throughout your whole entire life. So I think that's another thing as well. I feel like that was really important that I loved about being a part of, collegiate soccer or like just playing soccer in general. But like if we're talking about college and stuff, I feel like I matured a lot more in college for sure.
Yeah.
And you guys know me. And I feel like I've taken a lot and I feel like I've taken a lot of those lessons with life with me, like outside after you graduate, because that's the big thing too, is like, what are you going to do after you're done college? So my friends and my lessons in soccer I've taken with me outside of my journey, outside of soccer, or outside of college.
Yeah, I definitely agree with just like you're literally growing throughout college. Like you're going from age 16, 17 to 22. Like, you go through so much throughout that time, and you're literally a whole different person by the time you graduate. And I feel like, yeah, soccer does teach like discipline, accountability, and just like balancing academics with soccer and balancing life.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so you learn so much just going through those 4 years or 5 years you're there. So that's definitely like really true. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I feel like even going to college kind of helped me like prepare for going like overseas, because I feel like now, like, I know, yes, you're on your own, you're alone in college, but at the same time, like now, like when you're overseas, you're like really by yourself, and like you kind of have to hold yourself accountable to like eating right, making sure you're training well, you know, just doing all the things that are important to keeping you at your best when you're playing and stuff. So I feel like college has helped me help keep me organized, and you know, just focused on what I want to accomplish too. So yeah.
So at Kansas, you earned accolades such as like all academic Big Ten, or sorry, first team, and like
how you know that? Where do you find this info?
I said Big Ten, but sorry, Big 12 first team, and like all-time program minutes and starts at Kansas. Like I know balancing academic.
Don't gas me like gassing me up right now.
I know balancing in academic, like your academics and like your sport is like not the like the easiest thing to do, but like what kind of motivated you to excel both academically and like athletically?
That's a good question. Well, I feel like the resources we had, we got like free tutoring. I feel like, at least for me, my professors were very lenient and understanding when it came to my sport. So they allowed me, you know, to move around with tests, exams, and quizzes if I was going to miss them, and they helped out with like homework if I was going to miss it. So I think, yeah, that's a big thing, the resources that we had, which I mean, not a lot of people get. So I'm grateful for that. And also your teammates around you who also kind of push you, who also help you out to stay on top of things as well. And also just the fact that if you had bad grades, you couldn't play soccer. And that's why we're there, to also not only get a degree, but to also like play soccer. So like if you don't have a certain GPA that you're staying with, then like you're not eligible to keep playing. So I feel like that's also a big motivator for people as well. Yeah, I feel like that's basically it.
Oh yeah,
I feel like in college they help you so much. Like there's so many like people who are willing to like make sure you succeed. Like I feel like everyone wants to help you. That's the one thing I really like. Like everyone was so helpful. So like if you need tutoring, you had that like a snap of a finger. I feel like there's a lot of resources that can help you like do really good academically with like your large, you know, training schedule or crazy training schedule.
Yeah. And I feel like too, you just have like just people constantly reminding you, whether that's like your counselor, your academic advisor, your coaches. Like I feel like you have people constantly staying on top of you to like, you know, get your work done or do exams at least if you're like not doing it. So like it's not like something you can ignore at all, because you can't. But yeah, I agree with you.
So just going back to how you had like the most minutes and the most starts, how did you maintain your consistency of your performance
On the field.
on the field?
I mean, obviously, I feel like I was, fortunate and grateful enough to be able to like start right from the beginning. The formation that we were playing at the time, which was a 3-5-2, they needed a wide left center back, and I happen in my coach's eyes that I fit that role. So, and I worked hard enough to prove and show myself that I feel like I deserve a spot on the field. Not that I was like, as a freshman, I wasn't like expecting anything. Regardless, like I was always expecting to work hard and earn my spot on the field. But, I was gracious enough that I was given the opportunity because they needed that spot to be filled. And clearly my coach liked how I was performing, and he kept me playing there. Like all 5 years I was there, I was always the left wide center back, which is nice. And the nice thing too is like I'm right footed, but I can play with both feet, and I feel like there's not as many left footers, so I feel like that gave me an edge as well, as I'm able to play with my left foot as well. And so that gave me an edge to also play on the left side, because I feel like not many people could play with both feet. But yeah, I wouldn't say I was consistently all the time great. I mean, it was obviously like a lot of ups and downs. Like there's games where I had really bad games, or there was like times when I had really, really good games and I was on a streak of having good games, or there was like a time where I just like consistently, just wasn't on my game. Um, but I think a big thing is like the mental. You have to be mentally strong and also like mentally gracious on yourself. Like I feel like as a student athlete, you're like carrying a lot with you, and it's I feel like it's important to take care of your mental just as important to take care of your physical, like positive self-talking, like affirmations, to not be so hard on yourself, because I'm very hard on myself, and I feel like when I would do bad, it's because I was hard on myself. So that's why I say be like mentally gracious, because you're not going to be perfect all the time, and like that's okay. It's like there's but just to like give yourself that mental self-talk and good motivation, like accept maybe this wasn't your day, and the next day move on from it. Like be mad. My thing was always like if I had a bad game or a bad practice, my thing was you can be mad and sad about it and feel bad for yourself today, but like the next day you have to move on and leave it behind in the past, because dwelling on it is just going to make it worse, and it's going to affect your mental. And that's where the mentally strong comes in to play. You can't dwell on stuff in the past. You have to leave in the past and move forward and keep playing your game. So I feel like I wasn't always consistent, but like I felt like I always had a very good, like mentally strong game. I was able to be mentally gracious and mentally strong, which allowed me to keep pushing and playing the best I could, for the last 5 years.
No, I really love that word that you use, mentally gracious. I really love that word.
Thank you. Big word for me. That's a big word for me.
I really feel like that is so important. Like just knowing how to just move on from the mistakes that you make, because there's a lot of us that are so hard on ourselves and we make a mistake, but like you just have to remember that it's okay. People make mistakes all the time. Nobody's perfect. It's just how you respond to those mistakes. So
I agree for sure. And I feel like just in general, I feel like mental health in general, I feel like is a big part, especially in general, it's a big thing, but I feel like especially in like college sports, when you're a student athlete, I feel like it needs to be, held on tighter and taken care of a lot more. Cause like it's a lot being a student athlete, like doing school and like the pressures of your sport, like it's a lot mentally, and it could like, weigh you down and, take you to dark places if you don't like take care of it properly, like get the help you need. So I feel like that's like really important to like really take care and prioritize your mental health for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Mental health is literally so important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it plays a huge role on your performance too. Because if you're having like a bad day, or like you wake up sad and then you have a game that day, like you kind of have to be like, let me put this sadness to the back of my mind and focus on my game.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm. Mhm.
it's so important because it can really impact like how you play on the field. And sometimes you can be going through stuff, but I know when I was in college, I probably went through a lot of stuff, but I kind of put it to the back burner for the 90 minutes I had to play and was like just focused
Mhm.
on the game. And sometimes I even
Mhm.
came out happy because soccer is like a stress reliever for me too. So
Mhm. I
I can
agree. I
understand.
agree.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, going back to just having a good mental health is so important for like professional athletes or even just college athletes to perform at their best, like on the field too. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So can you talk about kind of just your transition from collegiate soccer and then playing professionally in Serbia and Finland? Like what what challenges did you face and like how did you overcome them?
Yeah. I'll be honest, like going from the transition, from college to, people say real life. I say to real life, but like going from college to like, being in the real world, I mean, it was scary for me. Like I was really scared. I mean, that was always something that if I was looking into the future when I was still in college, I was scared about because, I knew I wanted to go pro, but like I was just scared about, what was coming next because I feel like in college, like I feel like we're like given all these things. Like we're just like fortunate and grateful enough to get like all these things done for us. But like once you're out there, you kind of have to do it for yourself. Like you don't have like these tutors or counselors or advisors telling you what to do anymore. You kind of have to figure it out on your own. Um, but yeah, the nice thing was is that my coach at the time at college, he already had an agent that helped out with a lot of our other players who also wanted to go pro, whether it was like NWSL or overseas. So I kind of had access to him um, right away, which was really nice. I think one big thing is like when you're coming to the point in the last few months when you're about to like be done soccer and you're about to graduate and stuff like that, I would say a big thing is start getting your clips together. Like over time, if you're like very organized and stuff, which is what I wasn't doing, but like you like collect your clips over time and kind of make files for them because within the last few months you'd want to make like a highlight video and get that together because a highlight video is really important when you want to go overseas. So yeah, so I had that agent. Didn't really work out, but it's not always going to. You got to figure out what works well for you. I ended up signing with a different agent, and they had already been following me on my social medias. And I reached out to him. He asked for my highlight video, and from there, he would send my highlight video out to other coaches in Europe because I from the beginning already knew I wanted to go to Europe. I didn't want to go in US. I wanted to go out there because I felt like my playing style was more European football. And yeah, and so basically I guess how he explained to me it works is like they have they have a bunch of contacts like different teams, and those teams will tell them that they need a defender, they need a forward, or they need a midfielder, And I didn't want to like narrow all my options down. So I said, I want to put myself as a defender and a holder to open up my options, give me more options. And so if a team would ask for, oh yeah, like I would need a defender, a midfielder, he would go send out, my highlight video to them, and then basically the coaches would let them know if they would want me or not, if they're interested, if they'd like to follow through with the contract. I started late in the process because I didn't end up signing, because there's two different portals. There's the summer portal and the winter portal. And obviously the summer portal's a little bigger because that's when they're bringing players in for Champions League and stuff like that. And so then I was in the winter portal. So I was in kind of like the smaller portal because it's in the middle of season for teams. So I guess they're not looking for as many more players. And also I didn't end up signing with my agent until around January, end of January, February, which is kind of later on in the portal, because the portal I think closes around like March or something like that. So I started late in the process. So I guess like my options were a little bit more limited and stuff like that. But my agent ended up sending it within literally 3 days, but within 3 days of signing with him, he literally already had a team that said they're interested in me, and it was Spartak. And at first, I was a little, just surprised because I've never been in Europe before. Like Serbia, it's very different. Like, you don't know what to expect. And that's like very far, like very, very far away from home and stuff like that. And it could be different culture. Like I didn't know what I was gonna expect. But like I thought it through, and like if I'm gonna really, I was thinking like if I really am gonna do this thing, like I should just go for it, jump for it. And that was my mentality. It was kind of just go for it and see where it takes you. So I ended up saying, let's just do it. And I signed with them, and I ended up going there. And to be honest, I know people, it's 50-50. I feel like sometimes when it comes to people, there's stories when they have a good first pro experience or like a bad first pro experience. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. Like, I kept an open mind. I think that's very important, like to keep an open mind and to try to have a positive outlook as much as you can. And that's what I did. I went into this being open-minded and just trying to be in the present and enjoy everything that comes to me. And that's what I did. I ended up, I got to start and play in Spartak, like played a little bit of holding mid, played a little bit of left back as well. I made some great friends, literally all the way from Serbia, which is crazy. And there's some ups and downs, but all in all, I really enjoyed my experience. Like I had a really good first pro experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's allowing me to just keep building my portfolio as like a pro soccer player. And like, that's what I like about it. Like, it's just about building stepping stones and going up. And yeah.
What do you feel like was like your biggest challenge playing in Serbia?
The language barrier. The language barrier was hard. Not many of them know a lot of English, and the coaching was all in Serbian. Wow. So a lot of the time, when they were coaching and stuff like that, I'd have to go and ask like my teammates who could speak English to like repeat that. Or sometimes, we start doing a drill and, I wouldn't fully understand what's going on. So then like I wouldn't do the drill properly. I'd mess up because I don't understand. But yeah, other than that, it was good. Like I think the biggest thing was just like the culture shock and like the language barrier for sure, which is nice. Eventually I ended up learning like quite a few Serbian, so that was kind of fun. But But yeah, one thing I had to learn, like, I learned a bunch of like Serbian phrases, like Serbian soccer terms, which helped a lot on the field to communicate to my teammates because, like, obviously a lot of them don't understand English. So be able to communicate to them that they understand helps a lot more on the field so that we could all perform at our best and I can help them out and that helps me out and that helps us play well together. Whereas them trying to, like learn English words, which I mean realistically, like they shouldn't have to because we're in Serbia. So like it was just better. And I got to learn a new language out of it. So it was fun. But that's also the nice thing about Finland is that everyone also majority of everyone I've talked to actually so far like also speaks English. And the coach literally coaches in English too, which is the really nice thing. So it's like I don't have to think about what's being said. I can just be able to focus more on the soccer part than having to also focus on what's being said and what I'm supposed to do. Like all my focus can go towards just playing soccer.
Yeah.
And not trying to understand like what's being said, which I feel like is a really big thing too.
Yeah. I can relate to that because like my first contract I was playing in France and like I know French. I took French my whole life, but like actually,
girl, you're from
like,
Canada.
but like actually having to use it was actually kind of hard because like I never actually had to use it. Like in school, we learned it, but like outside of that, we never really had to use it. So when I came to France, I actually had to apply it. And like when the coach, he also coached in French too. But when he would like explain stuff, I'd be like, oh my god, I have to actually focus on like what he's saying. But then the transition from France to Denmark now, it's just so much easier to like. I don't have to focus so hard on what the coach is saying. Like now I can just be like, oh, okay, this is the drill. So like I kind of understand like how the language barrier kind of can be difficult sometimes, and like how you were saying how now you can just focus on the soccer and not focus so much on like understanding like how the drill is supposed to go or like so I can understand that too because I'm in that change as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I could also relate to the language barrier because like even though I do have a French background, I wasn't aware of like just the soccer terms. And then
that too.
like even just like knowing left and right, like it just didn't click as fast as it should. And like even sometimes when the coach is speaking, like I don't understand 100% of what he's saying, but I still pick up on like some parts of it and I'm able to just put it together. So that's kind of developed over time. Like when I first got there, it was like their accent was a little different. So when they would speak so fast,
one
like,
thing, yeah.
oh my gosh, what did he just say? And then one of the players would try to explain it just in like different words in French because I'm the only international. None of them really speak English, so it's really kind of challenged me to get better at my French and just be more like attentive and stuff like that. But they've been like really patient with me, so it's really nice to have that as well. And they always ask me, "Oh, do you understand? Do you understand?" And even if I say something
that's
wrong,
good.
Even if I say something wrong, they'll laugh, but like they'll correct me, and so it's like nice because I've like definitely improved so much on my French, so much. So that's
and I feel like too, like the Canadian French, I feel like too is just very different than like French and like France and stuff like that. Like I feel like the terms and the slang I feel like are very much different.
Very different, yeah.
I guess I'll be put to the test when I go to Paris. So they'll be laughing at me. They'll be like, "What?" They'll be like, "What are you saying?"
Yeah.
I remember one time we were talking with when we were in France. I remember we were talking with the coach, and we said something about souliers, like shoes, and he started laughing at us.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What is funny?" And he's like, "Only grandmas say that," and I was so confused.
They said only what says that?
Grandmas. Only like, grandmas talk.
Oh, you just got called old.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Like they use the word baskets and not so we're like, okay, like so it's like really interesting just like seeing the different terms that they use versus what we were taught in Canada. So yeah, that was also interesting. But like also what like differences did you notice like on the field wise, like between Serbia and Finland? Because I know like those are different soccer cultures. So like, yeah, what differences did you
Mm-hmm.
notice on the field?
Um, like just the difference in general, like the way soccer is played between
Yeah, like
like
playing style.
Finland.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like the Serbian players were very, very technical. Like I think just Balkan countries in general, like they're very good with their feet and they're very, very technical. Like it's all technical. Like they're doing all these tricks and stuff. Like it's so good. Like it's literally next level. And I just wasn't expecting that because I feel like in college, like especially United States soccer, it's not always as much technical. Like there's a lot more like comes into play, like, you know, your physicality, how fast you are, your endurance. But like there it was like very much like tic tac, like really, really good. And also I feel like they're very technically smart too. And at times for me, it was hard to keep up because I wasn't used to that kind of way of playing yet. But then as I played there more, I feel like my technical level went to a new level. So that's something I'm very grateful about is I feel like my technical has gone really better since being able to play in Europe. And also like their formation was different. They played like a 3-4-3 and they're very much more you know, oriented on like playing it to like certain players to get certain players the ball. Um And it was more tactical, very much more tactical too. Like we had specific roles on what we had to do. It wasn't zonal defending at all. It was just like very tactical and very much technical. I would say is how my Spartak team was. But with Finland, it's more like free playing. You get more ability it's more about principles. If you know the principles, the basics, then you can kind of work off of that and just play soccer. And that's something that I think I appreciate both, but I think that's something I resonate more with this team and I like a lot with this team is that it's more if you know the principles and the base, then you can work with that and you can kind of just play soccer and play how you feel, which I enjoy a lot. It's more free flowing. Like if you want to join now, you don't have to stay in your exact spots. Like you can rotate with people, you can move in and out. And defending too is more zonal. So you kind of just have your spaces and we all, you know, move, slide together. And there's like different roles and different teams. I really enjoy it. And the team here too is also very much technical and stuff like that. But I feel like the ability to just play soccer and it's not as tactical, I think I enjoy a lot. I think those are the big differences, if that makes sense. If I explained it right. I'm kind of like blabbing off, I feel like, because I'm like trying to like figure it out in my head. And also too, we play a 4-3-3 here. So, and I played the left fullback, and that's new for me because I've never been a left fullback before. And I'm kind of like, I was always the center back, the wide center back that would like, you know, dribbling up and stuff too. I was like an attacking center back. So it's actually really nice. Like I'm learning to enjoy fullback a lot because I'm able to, you know, like join in the play and like actually go up in. And like the nice thing is my coaches want me to join in and want me to get up and make those runs and stuff like that. So I'm actually really liking fullback a lot, and I really like the style of play with this team.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. Like, even on the national team, they put me an outside back, and like now I can attack and like get involved in the play. And even in Denmark now we switched to like a 3-back, and they also put me as the left center back. So like the wide center backs are allowed to go up and join the attack. So I'm really liking it too. It's so much more exciting than center back. Like I like it.
Malikae, you were also an attacking center back too. I remember when we were
we
in
both like
when we were playing together, we were both the type that dribbling around the forward, dribbling around the forwards and stuff, and just going up and stuff. So that's literally just perfect for us. Literally playing outside back and stuff.
Yeah,
because we're just more attacking minded and stuff.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a lot of running, but it's okay.
It is. It's a lot of running. No, that's the one thing too, is fullbacks literally testing my endurance for sure. It's testing my endurance for sure. But you know what? It's making me fitter, which is what I need. It's testing, how far I can run. And it's for sure a lot of running. But I mean it's worth it. It's worth it if something good happens. It sucks though it sucks when you make a run all the way up there, like you lose it and you have to run all the way back. That's lonely. All the way back and then do the same thing again.
Oh my god.
Doing basically just like up and down sprints the whole time.
Oh my god.
That's funny because here sometimes when we play, like we played so many different formations, like 4-3-3, 4-4-2, and sometimes we play a 3-5-2. And I'm kind of used to being at the two front, but they play me like on the wing back position, so it's kind of giving me a different perspective. Like I have to be more defensive and also attacking and running back and forth. Yeah, it's a lot. It's really a lot of, but it kind of just gives you like a different perspective and kind of widens your what's the word, like you're more
versatile.
Yes, versatile. Yeah, adds some like utility to your player profile. So yeah, it's cool just like experiencing like different positions and then like being, because you guys are used to being center backs and you guys love to be involved in the attack. So getting off to
we do
that wide, literally get to be involved in the attack. So that's nice too. That's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like a big thing for sure that I feel like European coaches look for is your versatility as a player. Like if you can play in multiple positions, I feel like that makes your options, like it varies your options. Like you have a lot more options, like more of a chance to play and like more of a chance to get like to have more coaches want you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
For sure.
Because like I feel like, like on your team, injuries happen and things happen. So, like, if you can put into positions, then, it gives you more playing time for sure. Did you realize any, like, differences, like, off the field, like, outside of soccer between Serbia and Finland?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like some similarities compared to here than compared to North America is I feel like in Europe, at least from like Serbia and Finland, everyone moves like a lot slower. Like I feel like North America is more faster paced. Like people are always doing something and have things to do, but I feel like in Europe, like everything's more slowed down. Like people go more for walks and like they'll go for coffees and they'll just be in each other's presence. And that's something I've learned to enjoy and appreciate being here. I feel like I'm a pretty talkative and social person, so I feel like I never really had any trouble making friends on teams. Like I had my group when I was in Serbia and I have my group of friends that I hang out with here too, but I feel like culture wise I can relate a lot more here in Finland, and it also helps too that everyone speaks English, so I can connect more on a deeper level because they know what I'm saying. And also they just have like a lot of similar things and interests that I feel like we also did in Canada. So, I mean, I feel like that helps too. Like, again, I know I'm repeating, but I feel like language barrier is a very big thing.
It is.
Yeah, but I feel like coming to Finland wasn't a culture shock at all for me. Like, I feel like they have like a lot of similar things, like similar way of living. to Canada than when I went from Canada to Serbia, if that makes sense.
No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
no, I get that. Wait, are you the only international on your team?
No, we have 4 on my team. There's me, and then I have a teammate from Albania, a teammate from Macedonia, and then a teammate from Brazil.
Ooh, Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like, ooh, Brazil. that was my reaction too. I was like, that's so cool.
Is she like a very like technical player?
Oh yeah, she's a midfielder.
Okay, yeah.
She's really good. She's really good, and like she's very good defensively too. Like she's just a hard worker, and I really like playing with her. Yeah. And after watching this,
no, I have a girl from Spain too. Like her touches are insane. Like she's so good. She's also a midfielder too. Yeah, those people from those countries are so good. I don't know what it is.
I feel like certain countries are just more focused on like their technical. I don't know what it is, but certain countries are just really good with like their technical, and then there's just other countries that are more so like very strong and physical. It just honestly depends on where you are.
Yeah,
for sure. And the kind of soccer you prefer.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Because Europe is more like technical, tactical, whereas like US, Canada, like physicalities.
Yeah, and tactical and all that. We know the deal.
Yeah, we know.
We know the deal.
That's funny.
Kaela, you played in Champions League, right?
Yeah, we did.
Can you tell us like what was that like for you?
Oh, that was crazy. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I cried because it was actually so crazy. Because like I feel like, yeah, don't get sentimental. I'm not gonna get sentimental, but like in general, like, well, I just feel like coming from someone who, it's like one of those I made it moments, like kinda like not obviously like obviously I want to keep building, but like in that very moment, it was kind of like I made it like this is crazy. Like you literally grow up to play in things like this, and to be a part of like my team in that moment, and team made history for that for our club because they never actually made it to second round before. And so when we played in Denmark and ended up, and we played KuPS. We played the team I'm on now for the final game. Which
wow.
Crazy. And yeah, but we played my current team now, and the score was 2-1, but it was such like a close game, and like maybe not the best game for soccer, but it was one of those like, maybe it's not the best soccer, but you're still getting the job done anyways. Like there was a lot of emotion, and we put like our bodies on the line for that game, and it was like really important. And then when the final whistle blew and we made it, it was just like so crazy in that moment to go play in second round and to go play against other amazing teams. Yeah, I literally just started bawling. I just started, and Emma Regan was there too. She came to watch me in that game, so it made it even more special to have one of my close friends there to be in that moment with me. So yeah, it was just amazing. I was in tears. It's like I can't even explain in words. It was just, yeah, definitely up there for one of the best moments so far in my soccer career for sure. And we ended up playing Rosen. Because they're like a really good team as well. I mean, they killed us in the second game, but like I don't care. It was so fun. Like it was just insane. Like to be able to do that, to get that exposure and stuff like that was just crazy. Yeah, it's up there for one of my top moments for soccer for sure.
Yeah, being in Champions League is a huge accomplishment. Like especially that you made it to the second round too. Like that's tough. Like I need to get there soon.
You will. What are you talking about? Yeah, you will.
One day.
Yeah, I feel like that's
You got so much time. You got so much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's such a surreal moment just to have opportunity to play in Champions League. Like I feel like that's like literally every player's goal. And
Yeah.
you get there and you got second round. Like I'm actually so happy for you. Like
Yeah.
You don't put me in the hot seat. I'm literally getting the shivers right now. You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry.
But yeah, that's such a.
We're all gonna get there. We're all gonna get there, and we're all
for sure.
and we're gonna go higher than that too.
Yeah,
Just
right.
wait.
Just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
Just gotta be patient.
Mm-hmm.
So you also have a lot of Canadian national team like youth experience. Like, how do you feel like that kind of like shaped you into the player you are today?
Good question. I feel like at least coming from those camps, I feel like it's a lot more cutthroat. I feel like when you're in, national team camps and stuff like that, and in that environment, because like everyone wants to make a spot on that team. Like your spot is like, a lot of the time not usually secured. So it's very competitive and very cutthroat. It teaches you how to be mentally disciplined for sure, and how to try to be mentally strong, because you're not always going to either make the cut, or you're not always going to hear something that you're not always going to hear the things that you want to hear. And let me think. I think I think one big thing I've took out of being in those youth national team camps is I got to play with some top tier players. You guys and other of our teammates that a lot of play pro now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And like we know so many Canadians playing pro in Europe or NWSL, and that's like literally so crazy. So I think one thing is being able to play at a very high level of soccer. And to also, I feel like it built mental toughness for me, for sure. So, because you're not always going to make the cut, and you're not always going to hear what you want to hear, but that's the way of life, and that's the way of the game. Like, it sucks to say this, but soccer is a business at some point, and you either, whether it's like wanting to make a team, wanting to make a starting 11, or the coaches have to choose the players that they feel should be on that team. And sometimes you're just, not going to be the ones they choose, or sometimes you do get chosen. But like, that's okay. Like you're not always going to be every coach's favorite. And maybe to other coaches, you are going to be very much like, but that doesn't determine your value as a player. And I think that's a big thing as well, is to not base your value as a player and a person just off of what someone says, or a coach has said, or a decision that is made, because that doesn't mean anything. Like, you can have different paths to get to where you want to be, and it doesn't have to be one specific route to get there. Like, there's so many stories where girls have been in the youth camps and then weren't in the camps for a while, and then later on ended up going back to the women's national team. Or there's some girls who weren't even in the youth camps as well, but ended up making it to the women's national team later on. There's some girls that are been there all the way through, but like, there's different ways to get there. But I think one important thing is, don't let your value as a person or player be determined just by a coach or decision. Mm-hmm. That's for me what I've taken out of, being in the youth camps.
I think that's a really
and just in general. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point because I feel like a lot of I feel like a lot of players like kind of compare themselves to like
You guys get it.
yeah,
Yeah, no, for
a lot of
sure.
a lot of players kind of compare themselves to like where they want to be and like players that are there where they want to be, but you have to kind of understand that your
Mhm,
journey is going to be different from theirs. It's just you got to keep working on
mhm,
self and just making sure you're ready so when those opportunities come like you're prepared and you can show out and just prove to everyone or just prove to yourself that like I made it and I can do this, you know? So,
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people should also learn that like even if someone says no to you right now, that doesn't mean the opportunity can't come in the
mhm.
future. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you just have to
Yeah.
work on a few things and improve your game. So there's using those
Mhm,
no's as a way to work harder, like to motivate you to work harder to get to
mhm,
where you want to be. So
mhm,
I definitely understand
mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also thought of something else at the top of my head too. Um, is also I feel like the more competitive it gets in environment, the more I feel like sometimes players will start to compare themselves to other
Mm,
players. And I feel like, and that's where you lose. That's where I feel like you start going down instead of going up is when you start to compare yourself. So I feel like an important thing is like, one, keep it on the soccer field. Don't take that off the soccer field. At the end of the day, it is competitive on the field, but off the field, they're still your teammates and they're still your friends. And also as well to focus on yourself. Like, one door closes, another one opens. Just because like one player is in your position and you're fighting for a spot, or whether they play over you or not, that has nothing to do with you as a player at all. So I
exactly.
feel like it's really important to just really just focus on you and how you can better yourself for you instead of comparing, okay, well, why is this player playing over me and this and that? Because that just doesn't get you anywhere. If anything, I feel like it just makes situations worse for you. And also, I feel like it ruins your mental as well, constantly comparing yourself to other people. So I feel like that's a big thing too, is no matter how like competitive it gets and like, to always make sure to just focus on yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's you versus you, not you versus other people.
no, exactly. And you were also brought into that situation. Like, you were brought to the, like, say you
Mhm,
were on the national, you got called to the national team. You were brought there for a reason.
mhm,
Obviously, you have some qualities and you're talented. And, just because someone is starting over you doesn't mean they're better than you.
mhm,
They just could just
mhm.
perform some, like, the coaches just could like what she does on the field at that time.
Exactly. I
So,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like even just in the professional environment where I feel like the coach is constantly changing formations or just constantly changing
Oh, yeah.
like 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 who they prefer playing and you kind of just have to like stay focused on you like you said and not compare yourself to
Mhm,
oh why am I not starting? I feel like I'm doing better than her. Like what is she doing that's not better? Like what is she doing that I'm not doing? It's just
mhm,
I feel like just continue to focus on you and just like have your goals each week. And if you're meeting those goals, I feel like that's only going to help you like just stay locked in, stay focused on what you're doing and kind of just track how you're doing as a player, I guess. Just like for yourself, you
mhm,
know. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Even focusing on yourself just keeps you even getting better every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
is there like any other like goals or aspirations that you have that you want to accomplish like before you like finish your soccer career?
Um,
Just like
I
a dream team
think.
or a
Sorry,
country,
what'd you say?
or just like a dream team or like a country that you really want to play in.
I don't think necessarily I have like a specific country or specific team I want to play on. I think my goal is more broad in the sense where I just want to be able to play at the highest league possible for myself, to be honest. And maybe even someday,
Yeah,
maybe even
definitely.
someday, get an opportunity to, be on the national team again, which would be very nice. Or even, the Filipino national team too.
Oh
Philippines.
yeah.
But just like, be able to be on national team to like go to the World Cup or Olympics would be crazy. I mean, I feel like that would be a dream of mine. But in all more of a broad sense would just be it to play at like the highest league possible. And I would be completely happy and satisfied with my pro life. And to literally just play as long as I can. As long as I can.
As long as you
To
can.
stretch it out as long as I can.
No, yeah, I like that. Because I feel like once you get to that highest level possible or the highest league that you could play, I feel like it's like you look back and like, wow, I really did this. I worked so hard, and my journey, like I really like got through this journey, and I feel like that would be such a great point where you just look back and like, wow, I did it. So yeah, I love that. I like that.
And that's the thing too. I feel like sometimes, at least for me, like I'm constantly like wanting to build, but like I never really just stop and look to see everything I've done like thus far and be like, dang, like I really did that and I'm like doing that right now. And so yeah, I think it's just important to just, obviously keep building your goals and getting to where you want to be, but also stop to appreciate everything that you've also already have accomplished as well.
That's true. That's true. I feel like living is so important because like you're not always gonna be playing soccer, so just like cherishing those moments and like really,
literally,
yeah, it's really important
because we're not getting any younger.
No.
No.
That's so funny.
No, literally. Do you have any advice that you would give to future aspiring professional athletes, just from your own experience?
That's a good question. Let me think. I think one important thing is to keep your connections and network. I feel like that is so important, especially in this generations. I feel like there's so much more. Oop, I dropped my earpiece right at the most inconvenient time. Dropped my earpiece. But I feel like in this generation, I feel like there's so much more opportunity to go pro because of like connections there are. So yeah, I think that's really important, whether they're coaches or agents or even teammates. It's really important to keep those connections and build off of those connections because those connections can literally help you get to where you want to be. And also be present and stay present in the moment and just enjoy everything life throws at you, I think that's really important too, because I feel like, especially for me, you can get caught up in the business of it and like the politics or the competitiveness. But I feel like it's important to, realize why you're doing it and to just really be in the moment and enjoy yourself and enjoy playing soccer and enjoy traveling while playing soccer, because that's crazy. Not a lot of people get to do that. And last thing is also to just be open-minded. I feel like that's a big thing, to be open-minded and as positive as you can. And when going to new teams and new experiences, because I feel like that helped me a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I agree with what you said about just like keeping your connections, because I feel like even outside of soccer, like when soccer is over, like those connections can help you, get a job or, just like sorry, like they can help you get a job and get like a job, and then also just connecting with different people that you can make like lifelong like relationships with. So yeah, connections are like really important.
I like your second point about just like living in the moment, because like you're in Europe, you're in a country you've never seen before. Like go explore, just embrace the moment. because not a lot of people have the opportunity to travel as much as we do because we're in Europe and it's so cheap, you know? So, like, just embracing your situation and your environment is so important for, you know, your professional career. Because it's not always all about soccer sometimes. Sometimes you need a break just to relax.
Literally.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah. And, like, also, like, just the great thing of being in Europe, like, everything is kind of close together and it's not, like, too expensive. So you can
do that traveling.
Yeah.
Do that girls trip. Take the girls trip. Take the girls trip out of the group chat.
Yeah. No, seriously. You can make so many memories and you're just gonna look back and be like, wow, like that was such a good time I had in like Monaco or like Italy, like, you know, like just like back but yeah, thank you so much for being on the One Soccer Nation podcast today, Kaela. We're so thankful that you could come on here just to talk with us and we catch up and you just share your journey. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Kaela.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed catching up with you guys. This was nice. Yeah, this gave me a little bit of some reminiscing right now from like our old times when we were like 16 and 18 years old. I miss those times. Now we're like in our mid-20s. It's crazy.
Literally, it's crazy.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for having me. This is a good thing you guys are doing. I was talking to my mom about it, but like this is a really good thing that you guys are doing. So thank you. I'm grateful you guys asked me to be a part of it.
No problem.
No problem.